G'day guys, me yet again, and I know what you're thinking, geez, doesn't this wanker ever give up? Well, I'm doing a lot of reviews today because I did a lot of watching over the Easter break, had a lot of free time, and I thought I'll do these reviews while I've got the chance because over the next few days I won't get the opportunity. So, you're going to have to bear with me one more time. I know you might be getting sick of me, but just bear it out. I reckon you'll be able to get through this one and survive. You won't see me for a few days. So, the film I'm reviewing, I wasn't planning on even watching this film today, but I got the opportunity, I put it in, and I want to give it a review now rather than in a few days because it's still very fresh in the memory. So it's a 2010 American low-budget independent film. It's a drama slash horror. Now, it is more of a drama, but it has horror elements in it. And it's directed by Simon Rumley, and this movie is called Red, White and Blue. Now, I heard nothing about this movie. I just saw it, and I didn't pick my nose, by the way. I just rubbed it. I saw this in the shop, and I looked at it, and I thought, oh, hello, haven't seen you before. And it was totally blind buy. I got it, and I had a lot of hope in it because what was written on the back, it said it's very vicious, brutal and twisted, all of that kind of stuff. I thought, this sounds pretty good. I'm going to take my risks and give this one a go. So the film is set in Austin, Texas, in a very, very seedy, scummy sort of community. And we have three stories intertwined with each other, which creates a fascinating sort of story, which results in a very shocking climax. So the main character is this woman here. Her name is Erica. She's a prostitute. She's a young woman. She's a prostitute. She has a lot of issues. She's got no self-respect. She basically has sex with any male that shows interest that's willing to pay. And you get told of why she has such low self-esteem and self-respect. She suffered traumatic events in her past. I'm not going to give them away. You're going to have to watch for yourself to find out. But that really explains why she is the person she is today. So she has no self-respect. She doesn't see males as people. They're just sexual objects that she just has sex with and pretty much discards straight away. She is not willing to get close with anyone because, as I said, her trauma really prevents her from gaining any sort of connection. So it's a really sad sort of story. She's a likable character, but she does have dislike. You can dislike her in the way in what she chooses to do with her life, but then you feel sympathy for her because she is a good person. She's very good amongst children, and you can tell that she has a good heart, but the events of her past really do prevent her from connecting with the other sex. So she really doesn't treat male adults very well. But that all changes when this guy comes along, Nate. Now Nate is an Iraqi war veteran. He's not Iraqi, but he served in the Iraq War. He got an honourable discharge. He doesn't go into detail as to why he was discharged, so that creates a bit of mystery to him. But like Erica, this guy comes with baggage. Now, he is a very sweet sort of guy. He treats Erica like she deserves to be treated, like a human being. He doesn't use her for sex. And to start with, she's reluctant to get close to him, but he's a lot different. And he has demons of his own, so he's a shady sort of character. He seems very nice on the outside, but you know inside he's got a lot of demons and you feel that he can be a nasty person. So they form this relationship. It's not a sexual relationship, but they are very close, and this is kind of the light in the darkness in this film. This is pretty much only the happy sort of moment in this otherwise depressing movie. So the first story is the connection between these two, which does take up most of the first half of the film. Really does set good character development, and these characters are really well developed. They're very real. They're not all blameless. The events that unfold in this film, uh, you know, everyone plays a part in the bad things that happen, and the whole film is basically victim of circumstances. And every sort of character, with their faults, causes the shocking effects at the end of the film. The second story is surrounding this a young band, a group of males. And I'm not going to give anything away because it plays a huge part in the film, in the story between Erica and Nate. I don't want to give anything away, so I'll just say that they are, once again, likable characters, but they have their negatives about them too, so they're very, very real. So once again, they aren't all to blame. once again, victim of circumstances. So that really does intertwine well with the love story between these two. And for some reason, every time I do a bloody review, my nose gets so itchy. Anyway, and the third story is really a tale of revenge. And I'm not going to give anything away, but the final quarter of this movie is indeed very, very shocking. Now, my thoughts on it's a very complicated sort of synopsis. The back of the cover doesn't really give a fair indication of what it's about. It's not very clear, so I hope I have made this complicated sort of story clear enough. Now, there is very graphic sex scenes in this film, so if you're offended by sex, I would stay well away from it. And I actually thought that while on the back it said brutal and twisted, leaves your jaw on the ground, ferocious, I thought it was going to be very ferocious all the way through, but it's not. It's got a very slow build up, creates character, and it creates a sympathy for every single character. There's no straight out villain. Every single character has motives for what they do, which creates a very unique experience because you don't know who to go for. The so-called villains, they may paint them as villains to start with, but then you're aware of the circumstances, so you don't really know who to support, and that's what's so tragic about this film. Every character has pain, and they do things that they don't necessarily want to do, but what circumstances dictate what they do. So it is a film that you will have no sense of justice about at the end, and it really does create something very different. Now, the violence, as I said, it's a very slow build-up, but when the violence does happen, it is very, very brutal and very nasty. Very, very raw. There's no glorifying of the violence at all. I thought if you're an extreme fan, you'll get through this, most of it. But right at the end, I thought it was just so disgusting. It shocked me to no end. It kind of had the same sort of feel to Savage at the end. It was indeed, it's on a par with the ending of Savage. It does have a very, very shocking ending, and it's disgusting. It really did put me off my food because I actually ended up, I started on my dinner just near the end, and I thought I'd get through this easy, but then, because the violence in the last quarter, it is fairly brutal, but then the very final act of this film is just really, really disgusting and shocking. And as I said, there is no sense of justice at the end because no character is totally blameless. So it's not a feel-good film. It's brilliantly directed. He had a limited budget, this guy who directed the film, but he did an outstanding job. He created a very dirty atmosphere. I guess you could say they were white trash. I don't like using that term because I can't, who am I to judge people in these sort of communities? I can only tell and judge these people on what I see on the movie, which isn't fair. So don't get offended if I say white trash from this sort of area. It's just going by what the film projects onto the screen. So the director did a great job. The acting was absolutely fantastic. Apparently the guy who plays Nate is an Australian. He has an American accent in the film, but he played a really twisted character. This guy was really nice, but at the same time a complete psychopath. And he even tells Erica about his past, which is really, really disturbing. And warning lights go on. But you know that he has a deep sort of love for Erica, and he's treating her really, really well. So while he is a disturbed individual, you feel Erica is safe with this guy, and it really does create sort of a beautiful thing in an otherwise brutal sort of circumstance, if you know what I mean. So it is a complicated film to review without giving out any spoilers. I hope I've done a good job of it. If you like Dead Man's Shoes, you will like this film. Dead Man's Shoes is a British drama sort of revenge film. It had a very similar sort of feel to this film. Very low budget, very gritty and raw. No glamorous sort of. It's not a glamorous film. Once again, my nose is itchy. It's not a glamorous film. It's very dirty, and if you like Dead Man's Shoes, I think you will really like this one because I like both films. I think Dead Man's Shoes was the better film. It had a little bit more emotional impact. But having said that, this one definitely does pack on the emotional punch. And the acting, the characters are very, very good. The acting was great. The violence was brutal and the sex scenes were quite graphic. So if this sounds like something for you, if you like your drama slash revenge films, I would definitely pick it up. It was a blind buy and I'm very, very happy to have it in the collection. Just be warned, it is extreme and the final act in the film is quite disgusting. So this sounds like a film for you. By all means, go out there and get it because I am fairly sure that you won't be disappointed. Alright guys, that's my last review for the next until the next few days, so I hope you enjoyed it, hope you're not too sick of me, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.